A very good morning, guys. Pros went from 85,000 long calls to just 5,800 in one session. That's 93% liquidation. They didn't trim, they didn't hedge, they just dumped it. Then they loaded 51,000 new puts. Then they doubled their short futures from 2,500 to 6,300. And FIS covered 87,000 contracts on Tuesday. Yesterday they did 1,700 contracts, and that's done. And crude is sitting at $98 this morning, $1.87 from the number that started the March sell-off. Today I'm going to show you exactly what Pro is positioning for, why FIS is covering is finished, and what the call wall at 24,300 to 24,500 means for the Nifty expiry next week. Let's get into it. So India's pre-market edge, cutting through the noise so you can trade with clarity. I'm Tanmay Kurtagoti, Season 2, Episode 21. Let's go. So Gift Nifty, guys, is trading at 24,179 this morning. Mildly green, just 8 points up. Looks calm on the surface, but look underneath. Nikkei is down 486 points. That's 0.82%. Hang Seng is down 208 points. Shanghai is also down. Asia is not buying yesterday's rally. US closed mix. S&P was up by 0.26%. Nasdaq was up by 0.36%. Dow was flat. Europe again almost flat. FTSE, DAX all closed between 0.29 to 0.36%. Now the big one, crude. Brent spiked to 98.62 last night. That's just 140 bips from that $100 mark. This morning it has pulled back slightly towards that 98.10 zone. WTI is trading at 93.33 and on MCX crude is trading at 88.56. Why does this matter? The March sell-off, remember what triggered it? Crude above $100 mark. Brent crossed 102 and FIS pulled the plug on India. We got a 420 point day on Nifty. They dumped 3.5 lakh crore in a month. Now we are just 180 bips away from that $100 mark, and this time FIS just finished the biggest short covering we have seen in recent times. If crude crosses $100, that covering reverses. Okay, gold is sitting at 47.91 flat. Dollar index is at 98.20 and rupee is at 93.20, slightly stronger. The headline is Gift Nifty is just trading flat. The real story is $98 at crude and Asia's selling. But let's look at the Pro, FI and client positioning as well. So Pros, index futures went from minus 2,500 to 6,300 lots. That's doubling down on short in one day. Index calls, 85,000 longs they were holding. Now they are holding just 5,000 calls. That's a 93% exit on the calls, not a trim, and exit. Index puts, they were holding 83,000 puts. Now they are holding 1,34,000 puts. Added 51,000 long new puts. What does that mean? When a particular participant exits their call longs and add puts long at the same time, that's not hedging. Hedging would be adding puts while keeping the calls. This is a full directional reversal. The call exits say they don't want any upside anymore. The put addition says they are betting on the downside together. That's the strongest bearish signal in the participant we have seen in the recent time. So let's look at FIs as well. So futures, they have around 1,98,000 contracts open. They covered just 1,700 contracts yesterday. On Tuesday, they covered 87,000. That's a 98% deceleration in covering speed. On the option side, they added 50,000 call shorts and 46,000 long puts. Even while covering futures, they are building downside protection in the options market. And the cash market saw something different. FIs bought 382 crore yesterday for the second straight day, but April month till date is 39,000 crore negative they have already sold. The buying is tactical, not a trend flip. And on the client side, maximum bullishness has been added around 1,30,000 long calls yesterday. So now sitting at 2 lakh long calls, sold another 98,000 puts. So short puts now stand at 5,50,000. I have seen this pattern before. So pros flipping, client stayed long, and market just dropped 700 points over the next 3 sessions. The data doesn't lie, narratives do. And that's the reason we have to keep a watch on all these levels. So let's look at some options data as well. Yesterday, Nifty opened at 24,385, gapped up of 154 points, hit that 24,400 zone, then sold off 300 points to 24,100, recovered slightly towards that 24,200 mark. That's gap up fade in textbook distribution. 35 of the 50 Nifty stocks closed in green, but the index closed in red. Institutional selling into retail buying that is happening. Now the option chain for next week's expiry. Call wall is at 24,300, that is 30 lakh new OI is present. 24,400 carries around 40 lakh new OI, and that's the biggest single strike. 24,500 has 26 lakh new OI. Highest total OI stands at 24,500, around 68 lakhs. Combined 98 lakh new call OI in just 3 strikes. That's the fortress. Nifty isn't going through that easily. So your resistance stands at 24,300 to 24,500 levels. On the put side, 24,000 put added 41 lakhs of OI, and 23,800 has around 38 lakhs of OI. Okay. ATM straddle at 24,200 is trading around 373 points, down from 445 yesterday. So one standard deviation implied moves gives you 460-70 points. That's 23,730 on the downside, and on the upside it is capped at 24,600. So gamma flip level is at 24,200. Below that we enter into a negative gamma territory. Market makers short gamma means amplified moves, and above 24,200 means mean reverting and pinning moves. Okay, VIX stands at 18.09, down almost 3%. IV for 21st April expiry is at around 16.80. So still in the negative zone, that is sell IV is recommended, but let's see what is the key level as well. So 24,200, that's the line below which acceleration, above which choppiness. With this call wall above the pros loaded short, the path of least resistance is sideways to down into Monday. That is what I can see for the weekly close. So let's look at some sectors as well. So VIX is a sell. Top sectors right now is defense, CNX metal, small cap. So metals rallied around 4% yesterday, powered by the commodity spike. Wipro reported after the close net profit of 3,500, 12% year and over year profits, and they announced a 15,000 crore buyback. IT sector was already up by 1.62%, might be partially priced in, but the buyback is significant. HDFC Bank's Q4 is tomorrow. That's the next big catalyst, 12% in Nifty. Okay, remember HDFC Bank moved the entire index in episode 10, that is around 700 points on the miss. So rupee case Nifty portfolio outperformed again yesterday, 0.808% versus benchmark was down by 18%, 0.18%. That's 26 basis points on that day. Hindalco is leading with 2.85% on the metals rally. ONGC is lagging at negative 1.65% on the crude concerns. So you can track it live on rupeecase.com. So now the educational point, when you see a participant dump their call longs and add put longs on the same day, don't confuse it with hedging. Hedging means you are protecting an existing position. You keep the calls, you add the puts as an insurance, that's hedging. What Pro did yesterday is different. They exited their long calls, then they added puts, not insurance. That's a directional bet. The exit tells you I don't want upside anymore. The new put tells you I'm positioning for downside. When both signals fire together from the same participant, that's conviction. And in the participant hierarchy, Pro always leads. Remember that. FIS follows. Clients is usually on either side of the winning game. So my read for today, the squeeze printed yesterday, 24,200 held, but the chapter isn't closed. Now look at what is front of us. Pro is convinced with shorts. FIS covering has stopped, and client is maximum bullish. Crude is at $98. Asia is selling. It's Friday, weekend ahead. I wouldn't carry heavy overnight positions into the weekend. If crude breaks $100 over the weekend, Monday opens with a gap down, and the call wall of 24,300 to 24,500 becomes irrelevant. Prediction wise, dip first, rally second was yesterday's call and was partially hit. The dip came, the rally was weak. Today I am saying some sell-off expected. 24,200 is that line. Below that, acceleration, so go light into the weekend. The market rewards patience and punishes conviction without evidence. So that's your edge for today, guys. If this added value, share it with one trader friend who needs it right now. Subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or stream it live on rupeecase.com. I am building RupeeCase, India's systematic investing terminal. Link is in the show notes. You just got earlier, guys. See you all on Monday once again.